Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my monthly Stamp With Me class. I'm just going to give it a few seconds for everyone to find me. Welcome. So this is my June Stamp With Me class. I do these once a month. And for you guys to join in so you can stamp with me, I usually post what you need a couple weeks ahead of time. So let me I can see everybody coming on. So this is my hostess code for the month of May. We only have a few more days left for you guys to earn some free products from me. And thanks to all of you guys that placed orders with me already for the month of May. I'm going to go over all of the supplies that we need today. Hello everyone, I can see you all jumping on. Okay, so we're gonna start out the inks. Tuxedo Black Memento ink, Garden Green, Petal Pink, and Misty Moonlight. We also need some Wink of Stella. And the stamps that I'm using today is the hand-penned petals. Now, I think I may have forgotten to mention, I did stamp the inside of the card, and you guys can always do that later, but I don't remember if I told you I'm using the Inspired Thoughts. So for the hand-penned petals, I'm using the Feel Better Friend. I'm also using the large flower image along with the flowers to stamp on the inside. And on the Inspired Thoughts, I'm using Sending Healing Thoughts Your Way. And then I'm also using the coordinating hand pen designer paper. I just wanted to show you all of the patterns. So one side has all of the flower images. You can see how pretty. I am actually almost ready to open up a second package. That's how much I've used this paper. Now let me flip it over and you can see all the beautiful colors on the second side. It kind of reminds me of sherbet. I love all the soft colors. And I told you in my post of what to cut ahead of time because we have a lot of die cutting. So I used this pretty little flower die cut with basic white to cut 4 of these. And then we have a whole bunch using the 2 leaf dies. I have 3 of each in Garden Green. The flowers, these are all Petal Pink. The large flower I have 2. The medium flower I have 2. And the smallest one I have 3. And then from the triangle, the stitched triangles die, so it would be the 3rd one in. I used basic white just to cut that out. And let me see what else we've got. We've got some paper. So I've got Misty Moonlight, 8.5 by 5.5. We have basic white, 5.25 by 4. And then I use the scallop die from the die set to cut out a scallop 5.5 inches, or wait a minute, 5.25 inches long with Misty Moonlight. And then here's my designer paper. Let me give you the measurements in case you missed the post where it told you what to bring. So this one is 5.25 by 2 3/4, 5.25 by 3/4 of an inch. And as far as the triangle, this is actually a square. You would cut your square 3.5 by 3.5 and then cut it diagonally. So you can actually make 2 cards. You'll have another piece for the second card. And I'm just checking to see what else I've got. I think that's it. So this is Stamp With Me, so it's going to be a little bit slower paced so everybody can stamp along. Hopefully I have people stamping with me. Oh, you guys see my M&Ms. See, I always have my little dish of M&Ms ready to go. Okay, so go ahead and bring in your Misty Moonlight or whatever color cardstock you're using and your scoring tool. And I know a lot of you guys like to watch first and then create the card later. So I want to see what you create. Make sure you post a picture. The first step, we're going to score at 4.25 on the 8.5 inch side. Another thing I'm going to mention while you guys are scoring, you're also going to need a piece of white for stamping. So make sure you have an additional piece. Now we're going to get rid of the scoring tool for now. And you're going to bring in a ruler. And we're going to make 3 pencil marks. The first one is going to be on the 5.5-inch side. And the measurement is 2 3/4 for all 3 measurements we're going to do. So just make a little pencil mark, 2 3/4. And then we're going to do 2 3/4 again on each side. Okay, so you should have a 2 3/4 at the top here, and then 1 on each side. That's it for measuring. That wasn't too bad, was it? And then you're going to bring your scoring tool back in. So let me go ahead and hold off just for a second to let everybody catch up. Oh, Gloria is saying great DSP. The designer paper, I know. I'm really addicted to this designer paper. Okay, now you saw me do this last week, and I've mentioned this quite a few times. I'm going to mention it again in case I have someone new. I have a black permanent marker going down the 6-inch. That's just so it's visible so I can see it. And that actually helps me. I don't know what that is. That actually helps me when I'm trying to line something up at an angle. I'm going to use the 2 3/4 right here, put that on the black line, and find the one off to the side. And make sure you're as precise as you can be, because these need to fold so that they're nice and straight. So there's the first one. And then we're going to turn and do the same thing on the other one. So line this up on the black line and go ahead and make. So you should have a little triangle thing going on at the top. Now, if you have any washi tape or Scotch tape handy, this will help. We're going to go ahead, fold these down. And when you fold them down, hopefully they'll be all lined up for you. You might have to press down a little bit harder on one side. You want these to be lined up perfectly. So this one I'm going to push a little towards the top and then push it over. Okay, so you can see they're lined up. And what I want to do, this is going to be covered. I'm just going to add a little piece of washi tape right on top of that, right in the center, just to hold that closed. So as you can see now, this is creating a pocket. So this is called a front pocket card. You're going to fold it over, press on the score line, and there's your pocket for your card. And I'm going to bring the card in to show you. I wanted to show you the pocket portion first. So this is the card we're creating today. You can see I stuffed a whole bunch of layers inside the pocket, the sentiments on the front, and then when you flip this open, this is what the inside looks like. Aren't those die cuts pretty against the misty moonlight cardstock? So let's go ahead and work on the inside first. So open up your little pocket. Now the reason you have the crease on the front or where they meet, if you would have folded this way, there's no pocket there. So that's why you have to fold it with the cut lines on the front. But once we add our layers, that won't even show. Okay, so for the front, you're going to need the Whisper White layer. And you're going to need these 2 designer papers and the little scallop die cut. So let's go ahead, and you guys can decide which pattern if you're using the same one, you can decide which pattern, but I actually am just going to use this side and then use the opposite side on the front. So oh, I need my snail. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and glue the designer paper even with the bottom. Oh, I can see a lot of hearts. You guys like the card. Isn't it neat? Because you can stuff all kinds of things in here. You could do like a little gnome. You could do some animals, a little frog. I chose to do flowers. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue the designer paper strip. And I'm going to glue that about 1/4 inch from the bottom. You can put it wherever you want. Stick it where you want. It's your card. I'm going to use liquid glue. Now I want to make sure this is the right length. It looks like it's too long. Yeah, it is. I think I cut it a little extra longer so that I could just trim it. Okay, so I'm going to do the liquid glue. And I'm going to add that. Now a little tip when you're working with scallops. I'm anal and I like everything to match. I'm a matchy person. I like my scallops to end the same way on each side. That's why I usually cut it a little bit longer. I'm just gonna flip this over, trim those off, and then I'm gonna get ready for my sentiment. And again, this one is from the Inspired Thoughts. I like the sentiments in here. There's a big variety of sentiment. Just thoughtful. Even a Christmas one. I like this set. So we're going to stamp that over to the left. Remove my ink pad. And now we're ready to glue this to the inside of the card. And then I'll stop a little bit to make sure everybody's caught up. Because then the fun begins. We get to decorate the front of the pocket and the inside of the pocket. So leave 1/4 inch around all 4 sides. And there's your inside. And we'll do the die cut too before we go anywhere else. Okay, so I'm just going to hold off. I'm going to see if there's any questions. I'm so glad you guys are here. I almost forgot because I was working outside. I hope my nails are clean. I was working in the garden, so in the flower garden. Okay, now I want to glue this die cut. Very intricate. The best way to do your die cuts is to actually use the adhesive sheets. They cut through both layers and then you just peel and stick. But for those of you that don't have adhesive sheets, I thought I'd show you the old-fashioned way. And I like to use my silicone mat. I usually just add some glue. I have this sponge here. Look how yucky it is. It's got little pieces of paper, but it's still good. I just make sure I put it on here and I put my finger down on it so it doesn't move. And then I'm just gonna tap the glue on there. Now I will not put another one on here because you'll get glue on the reverse side. So I'll show you. I have 3 of these and I usually flip it over and use it the other side. And I'm going to show you what happens to the glue. So now we're going to glue this to the flap. And doesn't that just decorate that really nice? Very nice inside of the card. And now we're ready to do the flap on the outside. So I used this one a couple days ago. It has liquid glue on it. It's all dry. And I just want to show you what happens. See, you just go like this and that peels right off. That's why I like using the silicone mat. It just peels right off. Okay. Now let's get ready to do the front. So is anyone stamping with me today? Just give me a thumbs up if you are, just so I'll know to slow down and make sure you're caught up with me. I need to add a wider piece of washi tape. This one just wants to pop off. Let me get a different one. Let's see. That one just doesn't want to stay down. And that one won't peel. Let's see if I can find one that actually works. You know what? I never use washi tape on my cards. I use washi tape as an aid in die cutting and stuff like that. I prefer the ribbon. Now I need to cut this off square. And I'm going to put a better, wider piece. I'm actually going to put it at an angle. Maybe it'll stay better. There we go. Okay, so let's get started on the front. So all of the die cuts that you see I've already cut. I'm going to go ahead and use the triangle so I can do my sentiment. Bring in the misty moonlight. And then I have my feel better friend. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. Now, one tip about this font, it's a really curvy, fancy font, but it has the word friend and it's nice and straight. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the word friend when I'm stamping to make sure it's nice and straight. So there's my sentiment. And we are all done with this color. Now, the way I started this, I glued the 2 basic white die cuts down first. So we're going to do those first. So go ahead and bring 2 of those in. I'm going to bring my silicone mat and I'm going to bring one that's not wet and tacky. I'm going to use the glue that I have down on this one. And now I'm going to take this and tuck it in the pocket, and I'm going to leave a little bit sticking out. So right about there. So you can see that I tucked it in the pocket, but I have this leaf sticking out a little bit. Now I'm going to turn this so I don't get any wet glue on it. We're going to glue the second one down. And again, and I'm going to turn this one so these leaves are on this side, because I want to do the same thing on this side, have it sticking out just a tad. Okay, so you can see those are inside the pockets. So you kind of have to think when you're layering like this, what do I need to put down first? Now my next one is going to be the one that I'm going to stamp. So let me just hold off just to make sure everybody's caught up. The inks you're going to need is the black, the garden green, and the petal pink for the next step. We're also going to need the large flower die and the large flower stamp. Oh, I hope I don't lose power, you guys. It's thundering and lightning outside. Okay, so now you should have both die cuts glued down. We're going to do the only stamping that we need to do on this card is this large flower. Because the image is so large, I always flip it upside down and I ink it this way. The ink just goes on a lot more evenly this way. So there's my pretty flower. Okay, now I gotta find all of my flower stamps. We're gonna do the inside of all the flowers with petal pink. And I wanted my flowers to be really faint so that the rest of the layers would show up. So I actually stamped off on my scrap paper. And what I'm gonna do is make sure this is lined up. So it's gonna go this way. This is the watercolor look, so it doesn't matter if it goes outside the lines. I'm going to ink the flower image, stamp outside, and then stamp inside. And it's very, very subtle. You can see it's very pretty. Next is the medium flower. We're going to do the same thing. So stamp twice. And then we have the cluster that has the 2 flowers. Oh, wait a minute. We got one more right here. I almost forgot that one. Okay, there's that one. And then twice we're going to do the one with the 2 clusters. There's 1 and 2. Now, I don't know if I dug out all my leaves. What's this one? Oh, that's a flower. Okay, I think it's these ones. So I got 2 of the leaves. And what I noticed is this leaf here, there's not one that fits perfectly in there. This is such a large leaf, but I use this one and it works. Again, it's the watercolor look, so you're going to have some white space. Let's see, that goes this way. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. Stamp on scrap first. So 2 of the large one, and then we have this little tiny one. And then I'm going to stop for a bit to make sure everybody's caught up. So you should have 5 of the little leaves to stamp. So isn't that pretty with the way that it's so subtle? Instead of using the darker ink color, I just like the lighter. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek of what I'm doing next week. Next week we have a technique coming. And this is a technique that I know you guys have seen. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, I'm gonna let you guess. But I'm just slowly gonna come into the camera and show you a corner of my card for next week. Right there. I'm covering most of it, but look how pretty. So you guys can guess what technique I'm gonna show you just by, and this is not designer paper. I designed this myself, so you guys know what's coming up. This is just a sneak peek. So this is next week. I'm gonna tease you. You know how I like to tease you. Okay, now I'm gonna bring in my die cutting machine. Let me see if my little one fits. I think I can use my mini. I'm just gonna cut around this. And we're gonna use the mini today. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out. And let's see, that goes this way. I think I'm gonna use a piece of washi just so it doesn't move on me. So let me bring that in. Okay, let's make sure this is lined up perfectly, just like that. And we're gonna run this through. I really like it when I can use the mini on my videos. It just doesn't take up all my counter space. Okay, there's the pretty flower. And then we get to bring all these other pieces in. Now, let's see if I can squeeze everything in here so you guys can see everything. So, of course, our next layer to glue down is going to be the one that we just stamped. So, snail right here. This is also going to be glued flat. We're going to tuck this in, just like so. And let's see what I want to do next. We're going to add the designer paper on the front, which is the little triangular one. Now, one tip about the triangle, when you cut this in half, you have 2 pieces. You can use it for a second card, or instead of decorating like you did here, you can actually take this triangle, cut it in half again, and the pieces will fit right here when you cut that in half. Somehow, I think. Yeah, like that. But I like having the inside layer the way I did it. Okay, let's go ahead and glue the designer paper in place. And again, it's going to cover the washi tape. So there's our little flap layer. Make sure this is over. And then what I want to do is glue down the last basic white die cut. So let's bring this in again. A little bit more glue and the sponge. And that's going to go right on the designer paper that we just laid down. Okay, let's see. I have that. It fits perfectly on here. And I'm leaving a little bit of the leaves sticking out over the misty moonlight because you can see it just kind of pops. Okay, look how we're doing so far. Isn't that neat? Now I just gotta check something. Yeah. We're gonna need mini dimensionals. Our next step is gonna be to glue the 2 large flowers I used mini dimensionals. So I'm just going to add a couple of those where they fit. I didn't put any on top only because it's going to rest on the flap itself. So I just put 2 at the top, layer over the flap. So we're going to do 1 on each side. See, that one's going to go right there. And then we're going to do the same thing with the sentiment. We're just going to add some dimensionals at the top. But on this one, I am going to do some liquid glue at the bottom. Just a little strip of liquid glue. Okay, so this is going to go, oh, let's see, about there. I went down about a ½ inch on the designer paper. I'm just going to press on it just so the liquid glue takes. Okay, so we've got a little bit of action here going on. Now let's go ahead and finish the front right here. So we're going to need 1 of each leaf. We're going to need 2 of the smaller flowers and 1 of the medium flower. Now, let's see if I have some, I still have some glue on my silicone mat. So I'm just going to take this and dip it in my glue. And then I'm going to tuck that under. So there's my first one. Again, I'm going to add some liquid glue. I'm going to tuck this one under the bottom and then have the leaf overlapping on the triangle. I'm going to get some more glue. And then we've got the larger flower, or the medium-sized flower. I'm just going to do identical to what I did on the first card. Okay, we're going to put one down here. And the third one is going to go right here over the leaf a little bit. Okay, so there's those flowers and the leaves. Now let's work on this side, on the right hand side. We're going to need the leaf with the 2 leaves, and then we're going to need 1 with the 3 leaves. So let's start with this one. Oh no, I just ran out of power. I hope you guys are still there. I had a feeling this was going to happen. Okay, hold on a minute. I'm going to see if I can turn my wireless on. Are you guys still there? Okay, I got my I turned my wireless off. Are you guys still there? Yes, perfect. The only bad thing is I don't have any light, so hopefully the light is okay, and I can't see you on my iPad. I can see you on my phone, and I think the light is okay. Okay, so again, this is the one with the 3 leaves. We're going to tuck this. I'm so sorry for the shadows. I have no lights, you guys. We're going to tuck that one under the big flower. And then the one with the 2 leaves, we're going to tuck over on the right. We're almost done anyway. So we should have 2 leaves left and 2 flowers. So now we're going to go over to the other side. Let me get some more glue. Oh, I hope it's not too dark. Okay, this one's going to tuck over to the left. And then one more right here. And let's see, we got 2 flowers left. We're going to tuck one under the triangle. And then one up here. So for those of you that are stamping with me, there's a lot of layers. You can put them wherever you want. You can follow the way I did it, or you can stuff them the way you want. Now my last step, and of course I can't see what I'm doing. It's so dark. Let me see if I can bring this up. I'm just going to add the Wink of Stella to all of my flowers. I don't even know if you guys will be able to see that because I'm working in the dark. And I can't see you guys on my iPad. Okay, there's that flower. So we got lots of flowers to add this little shiny stuff to it. It's so pretty. Got 3 more to go. I had a feeling we were going to run out of power. Okay. I got to stand up to see if you guys can see this. I'm looking at my camera. Isn't it nice though? Okay, so sorry about running out of power right in the middle of a storm, but that's my card for today. Let me open this one up so you can see what the inside looks like. And as usual, I'll pick a name for a winner for one of my cards, and I'll announce the winner tomorrow. And again, let me bring in the teaser. This is my card for next week. So make sure you guys join me. Join me next week, same time, same place. Thanks for joining me, everyone. I hope to see you again next week. Bye-bye.